Good morning. Check out that view. I'm out here in Moab, got camp set up. I'm on a quick trip out here doing some video work and some photo work. I've got the rig all here, everything going, but there is one new thing I just added to this that I want to talk about because it makes a trip like this much easier and a lot more convenient. And it's this. EcoFlow reached out and wanted to send this over and sponsor this video. This is their latest power station, but it's more than that. This is their entire on-the-road power solution. Let me pull it out so you can see a little better. EcoFlow has pretty quickly been expanding their ecosystem to a bunch of products that all work seamlessly together. And this on-the-road solution that they've now introduced really exemplifies that. They make batteries, they make refrigerators, they make portable air conditionings, all of which can now communicate and power each other. And with this, their new EcoFlow 500 watt alternator charger paired with one of their power stations like this one, the EcoFlow Delta 3 Plus, that on-the-road solution really is taken to the next level. Over the last few years, I've been working on projects that enable me or require me to come out to places like this, out in nature, because I'm doing photography work, I'm doing video work, that really suits itself to this environment. And that means I have a rig here that I love to use for camping and going off-roading. It's great, but that also means multiple days where I'm away from not only power, but just, cell phone signal, all of that type of stuff. But the difference here is that because it's not just pure recreation, because I'm actually doing work, I don't entirely care about disconnecting. I know a lot of people say, I want to go out in nature so I can disconnect and not be connected to anyone in the real world. Totally get that. There's a time and place for that. But for a trip like this, I'm actually working. I need to be connected because I am here for a reason, not just to disconnect, if that makes sense. But because of that, that means having power is super important. And for the longest time, what I've been doing is carrying around these portable power stations. You've seen them plenty here on the channel, and they work really well. And if I'm doing like a quick one-day trip or something, this works perfectly fine. I can run everything I need and still have power left over. But the problem comes when you start to do multi-day trips, or maybe you live in an RV and this is like your main way of getting around and living. These power stations are great, but at some point you are going to have to recharge them. Now, right now, look at that. We got no clouds in the sky, so I could use solar power to recharge them. But unless I have a ton of solar panels, that's probably going to take a little while, and I might want to be on the move instead of just sitting here waiting for my batteries to charge. And that's where this whole system comes in. This means when I drive from my car, I can recharge a power station. And not only that, I can recharge it super fast. Okay, so got camp set up, ready to head out. But before I do, I want to show you exactly what this is going to be doing, why it is such a game changer. So I've got the EcoFlow app here. You can see I'm connected to the Delta 3 Plus. And after using this pretty heavily to charge all of my devices, to charge my drone batteries, I'm running Starlink, and I have been running it the entire time. I'm also running my refrigerator. It is now at 40% battery. Now, if this was a multi-day trip, well, that would be an issue because now I only have 40% left to last me that entire time. And sure, I could, limit my power. I could turn off Starlink. I could not charge my camera batteries. I don't want to ever turn off my refrigerator if I don't have to. So I could stretch it a little longer, but 40% honestly is not that much more. If I had 2 more days, this would not make it. And if I didn't want to use solar, well, that's where this alternator charger comes in. Because when I turn on the car, which I'll do now that the car is on, I can go into the alternator charger here, and you see that it is pulling voltage from my alternator as the car runs, and that is what it's using to charge the battery. And you can see it's ramping up here, going to 400, and it should reach a max of 500 watts of recharging. And now if I go back into the battery settings, I can see here that now I've got an input of 500 watts. So in an hour and a half, this is going to be fully charged, and it's probably going to take me that long to get to my next spot. So then when I get to camp, it's going to be fully charged again. It's pretty sweet. Let's go drive, and I'll tell you a little bit more because there's some pretty cool features with this thing. So when you're out here in the desert, it takes quite a while to get wherever you want to go. It's slow going, there's tons of bumps, there's tons of rocks. I love it. It's part of why I've built this car, to be able to do what it can do. But it's also the perfect solution to put this alternator charger to work and charge up everything else I need. Now, this 500 watt alternator charger can give you 5 times faster charging while you drive. And that means in 2.1 hours, you can get 1 kilowatt hour of charge. Compare that to the 100 watts you'll get from a standard plug. It's a pretty big difference. And with this, you can use it to charge up any of your EcoFlow batteries. So if you already have one or you're looking into the market, well, this is going to work with it. But not only that, it also works with other third-party devices as well. As long as you have the XT60 connection, you should be good to go. So if you have the EcoFlow River or a Delta series, it's going to work with that 500 watt charging. Now, installing this was super simple, and granted, it's a little easier for me because I'm used to working on this truck. I know where everything's supposed to go. I know how to wire cables, all of that. But even if you don't, it's still a very simple process. Now, EcoFlow themselves have some pretty great content on how to install this. So if you want a more in-depth look at that, you can go ahead and check that. I'll leave a link down below. But here is a basic rundown of how this system works. So you have a cable that is going to connect to your system's battery, whether it's in an SUV or truck like I have, or whether it's in an RV. You need a power source. That cable will then run to the EcoFlow 500 watt alternator charger. And then from there, there is another cable out going to your battery. In this case, it's the Delta 3 Plus. And so that's essentially how this works. You're basically just connecting the portable power station that maybe you already have or you're getting from EcoFlow, and you are connecting it to your car so that you can recharge it as you drive. Now, to actually install it, it's going to be different from car to car, but generally, if you're installing in a car like this, you're going to need to run this cable through the firewall. So there's usually a grommet somewhere there where you can make a little hole, run everything through. Because I've run cables before, this was a super easy process for me. And that lets the cable run from the engine bay into the inside of the car without having to go outside. So it gives you a really clean install. And you just connect this to your battery. You go to the positive lead, to the negative lead. There's a fuse built in so that you won't have any issues there. And then really the hardest part, and what I honestly haven't done yet, is running the cable throughout your cabin. And you can be as clean or as not clean about this as you want. Right now I just have it running through the side, but eventually I'm going to tuck all these wires so you don't even see them. And then you can decide where you want this alternator charger to go. Right now, again, since I'm testing it and I'm using it in the real world, I haven't set up exactly where it's going to live, especially because I have some other pretty big plans for this. I'm going to do a whole drawer system and everything like that. So I don't want to permanently mount anything just yet. But if you have an area where you want this to be, you can mount it. There's mounting holes on the back, so it's very easy. And then that just runs to your power station. It's pretty simple to install. Now, one thing that is pretty important is safety. And this is pretty safe because it has high thermal resistance. It's made with gallium nitride technology, and it also has a 2-year warranty. And with this, it's designed with a 4X protection system. So there's 4 different safety measures in place. So you get things like reverse polarity protection, overcurrent protection. It's not going to short circuit. You get over voltage and under voltage protection. So the safety of this system has been thought through. Now, once you have this installed, it does more than just charge your power station. It actually does 3 different things. This is a 3-in-1 system. So it can charge a battery like we've already talked about, but it can also maintain your car's battery, which is important if, especially like a rig like this, I don't drive it every single day. So sometimes it's sitting. I could use this system to maintain my car's battery so it's ready to go. And even better, if I'm at camp and something goes wrong and I kill my car's battery, well, this can actually reverse charge and jump start my vehicle's battery. That is a nice thing to have. So with all that being said, all those features sound great, but what really matters is, how does it work? And after a long day of driving, exploring, and just, checking out where I am, which, by the way, look at this view. It's absolutely incredible. I'm at my final stop for the night. And what's important is that I still have full charge on my battery thanks to this whole system. In fact, if I bring up the app here, you can see that if I go into the battery, I'm at 98% state of charge. And that's because I've been, stopped here for a little bit while I get set up to film and everything. It's at 98%. That's essentially full. And tomorrow, if I need to continue on my journey, well, the same thing can apply because as I drive, as I explore, the car is charging the battery for me. So every time I stop, I have a full charge, which means I can go further, I can do more, and I don't have to stop what I'm doing. So, you know, like I said, this is a work trip where I'm trying to film, I'm trying to get photo work done, and I need that internet connection. Now I can have it. I don't have to run into town every single day. I don't have to, you know, compromise my plan. I can just kind of be wherever I need to be. And that's exactly what the point here is. So if you want to learn more about this and pick one up for yourself, which I definitely think you should, it has made a huge difference to the rig, and it really changes how I think about these trips going forward. I was going to do this kind of system on my own, but with what EcoFlow has, I already have their battery. Well, this just makes the most sense. So whether you have a rig like this, whether you got an RV or any other rig, you should definitely look into this. I'll leave links down below so you can check this out and pick one up for yourself. But yeah, absolutely love this because really it enables me to be in places like this more often, which is kind of all I care about.